What if performance monitoring tools actually told you what was slowing down? I've used a lot of monitoring tools, and most of them are just focused on the boring high level numbers. Your score today is 710 milliseconds. That's boring AF, and not really that useful. When your score is bad, you don't know what to do about it, or where to start looking. It's just not actionable. We think that's dumb. What good is performance monitoring if you don't have any information to make your website faster? That's why we're launching PageSpeed recommendations today in Request Metrics. A ton of little helpful hints, tips, and feedback to show you exactly where and why your website was slow for a user. This is the page view details and debugging screen from Request Metrics. This one's showing a Chrome user from the USA who came into our homepage via a Gartner link. We can also tell you specifics about the user, like their name and email address, if you know who they are. We can also see the overall load time and whether it was this user's first visit. In this case, it was. This is important because there's limited potential for resources to be cached on a user's first visit. They have to load everything. We can see a breakdown of the overall performance and how it compares to other users who visit this page or the website overall. And some technical details for how the page was served. 4K over HTTP2, and it returned at 200 OK. This is all cool and useful, seeing the end user and the device they're using. But the real actionable information is in the sequence waterfall below. Here we can see a story of the whole experience, dealing with redirects, DNS and SSL time, and how fast our server responded. We can also see important metrics like TTFB, LCP, and load time directly in the timeline. And we can see every resource and request that makes up the load, highlighted with interesting properties, like these stop signs, showing that an asset is blocking, preventing the page from rendering. And the anvils, signifying big and heavy files, like this 150K CSS file. Expanding any of these resources gives us more detail, like status, size, and caching status. We can even analyze it further and understand the performance of this resource overall, how it's served, and what the caching potential is. The timeline includes all of our CSS files, fonts, JavaScript, images, iframes, event API requests, and when the largest contentful paint and largest shift happens. We can expand LCP to see the element that painted and the URL it was loaded from, one of our sloth animations. We can analyze this to see whether the timing is normal and if the element is the same cause for others visiting the page. Our site is pretty fast already. We do make a performance tool after all. But our biggest opportunities are reducing these big CSS files and deferring some of the JavaScript until later. All of the resources are also rolled up into this summary here on the right, which gives us a great perspective of our third-party vendors and how slow they are. We don't have very many on our site, but some of your sites have hundreds. For each of them, we can expand and see what sorts of assets are loaded, how long they take, and the protocols and caching functions that the vendors use. We can get a site-wide version of this resources report, which shows all the vendors we use, their impact on pages, and the distribution of file types, so you know exactly when anyone on your team adds a new dependency to your website. Actionable web performance. The scores you need to know, plus the tips and hints you need to improve your site speed and deliver amazing experiences for your users. All of this is live in Request Metrics today, on our final day of launch week. It's an amazing set of features we've brought out. Real user monitoring, core web vital tracking, page speed boosting recommendations, and now our free monitoring service. Launch week is over, but we're not done yet. We've got a lot more great stuff coming, and I want you to follow along with us. Like, subscribe, and get notified when we release the next video, and we'll see you out there.